Every single day, Elon Musk is connected to systems that burn over $1 million. And if that number drops, things start to fail. Not in theory, in real time. Factories lose momentum, rockets miss timelines, entire systems begin to stall. Because this isn't lifestyle spending, it's pressure. The cost of running machines so large, they can't slow down without consequences. And once you understand how those systems work, you'll realize something strange. $1 million a day isn't the story, it's the warning sign. At first glance, Elon Musk fits a familiar pattern. Billionaire, CEO, visionary, controversial figure. You've seen this profile before, but something about him doesn't quite fit. Because most billionaires, once they reach a certain level, slow down. They protect what they built, they optimize for stability. Musk does the opposite. He accelerates, and acceleration at this level is expensive, relentlessly expensive. But here's the contradiction. He's not accelerating his lifestyle, he's accelerating systems. And that distinction changes everything. Most people assume wealth leads to comfort, bigger houses, better cars, more privacy, more control over time. But Musk's version of wealth doesn't look like that. In fact, compared to his net worth, his personal lifestyle appears almost restrained. So the obvious question becomes unavoidable. If he's not spending on himself, where is all that money going? Tesla isn't just building cars, it's running a system that never really stops. Gigafactories operate like living environments, machines, software, and people all moving in sync. Robotic arms assemble components with extreme precision, while AI systems monitor production in real time, constantly adjusting for efficiency. And every second this system runs, it consumes resources. Energy flows continuously. Materials move across global supply chains. Thousands of workers and engineers keep everything aligned. Here's the part most people overlook. Shutting it down doesn't save money. It creates bigger losses. Restarting production is expensive. Supply chains get disrupted, output slows, and delays ripple across the entire system. Which means Tesla isn't just spending to grow, it's spending to maintain momentum. Because at this scale, slowing down isn't efficiency, it's failure. Inside a Tesla Gigafactory, scale becomes difficult to comprehend. You're not looking at a factory, you're looking at an ecosystem. Raw materials arrive from different parts of the world. Lithium, nickel, cobalt, each part of a supply chain that stretches across continents. Those materials are processed into battery cells. Those battery cells are assembled into packs. Those packs become part of vehicles. And all of it happens in a continuous flow. Now layer in software. AI systems monitoring production efficiency. Algorithms predicting mechanical failures before they happen. Data systems optimizing every step in real time. This isn't manufacturing, it's orchestration. And orchestration at this level requires constant input, constant adjustment, constant funding. Because Tesla isn't just maintaining operations, it's evolving them every day. But here's where things take a turn. Because while Tesla operates on Earth, SpaceX operates at the edge of possibility. And this is where the numbers stop feeling real. Because space doesn't follow normal economics. Everything is harder, everything is riskier, everything costs more. A single rocket launch can consume tens of millions of dollars. But that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is what happens when it doesn't work. Because failure in space isn't subtle, it's explosive. One moment, everything is intact. The next, years of work disappear in seconds. And with it, millions of dollars. Gone. Instantly. Now here's where most companies would hesitate. They would slow down. Reduce risk. Protect capital. Musk doesn't. He leans in. Because for him, failure isn't something to avoid. It's something to learn from. Each explosion is data. Each failure is information. Each loss is part of the process. But learning at this scale is expensive. Because you're not just paying for success, you're paying for iteration. Over and over again. And that means the spending doesn't decrease. It compounds. Fuel costs, testing facilities, engineering teams, materials that can withstand extreme conditions. All of it adds up daily. And yet, Musk continues. Because the goal isn't just to launch rockets, it's to reduce the cost of access to space. And once that cost drops, everything changes. Satellite deployment becomes easier. Global communication improves. Entire new industries become possible. So that expensive spending, it's not just cost, it's leverage. Artificial intelligence is where the spending becomes harder to track and far more unpredictable. Because here, there are no factories to point at, no rockets to watch, just systems being trained in the background. Take self-driving. Tesla vehicles are constantly collecting real-world data. Millions of miles of human behavior, edge cases, and unpredictable situations. That data feeds neural networks, which are trained, tested, and retrained again and again. Each cycle requires massive computing power, engineering time, and constant iteration. Now expand that further. AI isn't just for driving. It's being used inside factories, guiding robotics, optimizing decisions, improving how systems respond in real time. And none of this comes with guarantees. That's what makes it expensive. Because you're funding uncertainty. But if it works, it doesn't just improve a feature, it changes the entire system. This is where things get risky. Because in this space, there are no guarantees. You can spend millions daily and still not reach a breakthrough. You can build systems that almost work. You can iterate endlessly without certainty. And yet, this is where the highest potential exists. Because if one of these systems works, truly works, the impact isn't incremental, it's exponential. It changes industries, redefines capabilities, alters how humans interact with technology. And Musk is willing to fund that uncertainty every day. Now step back. Because this is where the story expands beyond companies, beyond products, into influence. Because when Elon Musk spends money, the effects ripple outward. Tesla grows. Competitors are forced to respond. SpaceX innovates. Global space economics shift. X-Orbit evolves. Conversations around the world change instantly. This is what money looks like at scale. It's not passive, it's directional. Each dollar moves something, and those movements compound into influence. But here's the contradiction that makes this even more fascinating. Despite all this spending, Musk doesn't live like a typical billionaire. There's no overwhelming display of luxury, no constant emphasis on personal indulgence. Instead, there's restraint. And that restraint isn't accidental, it's strategic. Because every dollar spent on lifestyle is a dollar removed from momentum, from growth, from expansion. And Musk prioritizes expansion. Which brings us back to the original number, $1 million a day. It sounds extreme, but at this level, it's operational. It's what it takes to keep everything moving. Because behind every product, every launch, every innovation, there's a system. And systems consume resources continuously. Thousands of employees, global infrastructure, research pipelines, manufacturing processes, all running simultaneously, all requiring input. And that input is money. Now imagine what happens if that input stops. Factories slow down, projects stall, competitors gain ground, momentum disappears. And in industries driven by speed, losing momentum is losing everything. So the spending continues, not because it's optional, but because it's necessary. But here's where it becomes even more intense. Because Musk isn't just maintaining systems, he's expanding them constantly. Building new factories, designing new rockets, exploring new technologies, and expansion increases pressure. Because the bigger the system becomes, the more it demands. More resources, more funding, more speed. It's a loop, a machine that feeds itself. And that machine doesn't slow down, it accelerates. So when you hear that Elon Musk spends over $1 million a day, you're hearing the surface. What's actually happening is much deeper. That money is being converted into infrastructure that reshapes industries, technology that redefines limits, systems that push humanity forward. It's not disappearing, it's transforming. And this leads to something most people don't expect. Because wealth at this level doesn't create freedom. It creates obligation, responsibility, momentum that can't be paused. Because once you start building at this scale, stopping isn't simple, it's disruptive. So Musk doesn't slow down, he keeps going. Spending, building, expanding. And that brings us back to the beginning. $1 million a day. It sounds like excess. It sounds like luxury. But it's neither. It's fuel. Fuel for a system that's constantly moving, constantly evolving, constantly pushing forward. So the real question isn't, how much does Elon Musk spend? Because that number will always change. The real question is, what does that spending turn into next? And how far can it go before it changes everything?